before we start today, I'm gonna wash this. It is filthy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny Vicente, and this is a 2020 911. The 911 for me was, no, is. Well, kind of what, you know what? It kind of was, and it sort of still is my dream car. Every car I have ever driven, I have compared to the 911. This to me is the benchmark all other cars need to compare themselves to. Hey guys, I'm coming to you from my office. While we were filming this video, there was a large construction site right behind the car, and they had a crane running the entire time. So you'll actually hear it throughout the video. I tried my best to fix it in post, but it kept coming through every mic I had running at the time. So when it gets too loud and too noisy on camera, I'm just gonna cut over here to my office and describe some of the pieces of the car. Wow, that's loud every time.
And every time too.
It's like you guys just know I'm about to do it. That's true, man. At home I gotta deal with a dog, and on site I gotta deal with a crane. All right. One thing I do want to tell you is I got this car on loan from Rocklin Porsche. They're part of the Nilo family of dealerships. And I've bought a lot of cars. I've actually bought a lot of cars from Nilo dealerships. But I've also bought a lot of cars from other places as well. And I am here to tell you, hands down, this is one of the best dealerships I have ever been to. And if you are in the market for a Porsche, or if you just are thinking about a Porsche, give these people a call. They can take care of you and put you in the right car for your needs. I promise you, you will walk away with a smile, and at the end of the day, that's the whole point of all these videos, right? Putting you in a car that places a smile on your face. And I know it's been a while, and we were supercar shopping the last time we talked, and I'll explain what's going on with the supercar in a little bit. It's still in the works, and it's getting closer every single day. But this, well, this isn't the supercar I bought, but it's one hell of a car. When I was a kid, my friends dreamt of Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Me, I dreamt of this, the 911. More specifically, the Porsche 911 Turbo. Now, this isn't the turbo, wait, no, it is the turbo model, because all 911s have turbos now. We'll get into that in a second. Okay, so we're gonna start with numbers, because I know you guys can't watch these videos without hearing them. So the 2020 911 Carrera S Cabriolet comes in a 3-liter, 6-cylinder turbocharged engine that produces 443 horsepower and 390 foot-pounds of torque. Now, you heard me say turbo. Long gone are the days where the Porsche 911 Turbo was the turbocharged model and the rest were non-turboed. Pretty much can't go anywhere nowadays without a turbo. Porsche even has the Taycan, which doesn't have a turbo at all, but they call that one the turbo. Turbo now just means fast. And yeah, this is mighty fast. So I know a lot of people out there talk about the 911 and how it hasn't changed, at least from a design standpoint. And they claim that that's somehow a bad thing. The reality is this car was beautiful 20 years ago, and it's even more beautiful now. I know there's some Porsche purists out there that didn't like the lights in the early 2000s. And some people complained about its bulbous rear end, but the reality is there's no denying it. This is a beautiful car. We're going to come down here while we're still on the outside of the car talking about its design, and one thing you may notice is that that wheel looks a little bit smaller than this one. Well, it's because it is. One thing, I think the door just opened on me. Yep, it sure did. You also have carbon ceramic brakes to slow this down as quick as you need to. One more thing. I'd love to show you the engine in this car, Porsche won't let me. Not Porsche Rocklin. Porsche won't. There's no way to access that. You have to send it into the back where the mechanics are for them to do any engine. So if you're a tuner or somebody who just likes playing around with your engine, it's a little more difficult on this one. I absolutely love about current Porsches is the red light bar running across the back. It's an aesthetic that is unmistakably Porsche, and it looks fantastic. Yes, this has the spoiler that goes up and down as you're speeding to inform the cops that you do deserve a ticket. I know if I drove this, I'd get lots of tickets. And I wouldn't care. Anyway. You also have the brake lights up here, which just to me gives it some more distinct styling. I really love the rear end on this car. I know it's a piece that a lot of people talk about. I like it. There's not much on this car I don't like from a design standpoint. So if you're looking for somebody to critique this design, you might want to pick another video. So guys, while we're talking lights on the Porsche, one unmistakable feature is the daytime running lights. They're four-cornered LEDs, they look fantastic, and they make a Porsche unmistakable for any other car coming down the road. So while we're up in front, one thing I know you all want to see, and that is the trunk. And as you can see, it's just a trunk, nothing super fancy. It does have plenty of room in here for a day trip or even an overnight weekend. You can easily stow 2 pieces of luggage in here. I've got my laptop in there, just so you can see scale. So one thing you guys saw earlier when the door attacked me and I was trying to tell you about the wheels is that these door handles are actually flush with the body and come out as you approach the car. Now this being a Cabriolet, again, I know you can't go a whole video without watching the top come down. So we're gonna put the top down. Hey guys, one thing you're about to hear me talk about on the drive is the interior of this vehicle. And I spoke at length about the interior, but that construction noise just got too loud and overwhelmed everything during the shooting. So the one thing I do want to tell you is this interior is second to none. It is outfitted with the latest technology. The buttons feel great. Everything's customizable. It's even got gesture control, so as you approach the screen lights up recognizing your hand as being there, and when you pull your screen away, that goes away. It does have a back seat, but as you all know, in a Porsche, the back seat's really there for small children or luggage. It's not really there for a full-grown adult, and I didn't even try to sit back there, so. Okay guys, so driving the Porsche 911, one of my favorite features, and I'm going to do it really quick because it's so hot and I'm sweating and I want the AC to go, is to actually turn the car on is on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. And this is reminiscent, I'm sure you watched a million videos talking about it, but back in the day when you did a race, you had to run to your vehicle, and Porsche felt this would get their drivers to turn the cars on faster. So this being a true sports car, the cabin isn't extremely spacious. I know it has a back seat, but I think it has a back seat just to say it has one. The reality is the only people sitting in that back seat are very, very small children, and even then it's probably for short trips. So while this isn't my first time ever driving a 911, every time you get behind the wheel in one of these cars, it's just a special event. Man. Oh, this car is quick. This car is quick. And that engine sounds fantastic. There's one thing Porsche does very well. Their cars all sound great. I know a lot of people don't like the sound of a turbocharged engine, but this one just sounds fantastic. And it moves. This being a modern Porsche, it has just about every amenity you can think of, every safety feature and every driver's aid out there. Now, this being a driver's car, those aids don't really hamper you, and you still have to drive it, and drive it, it wants you to. You know, I once said that the Tesla performance model was engineered to be driven, and I still believe that. A lot of people think that car was engineered for it to drive you and not for it to be driven. But when you get behind the wheel of this car, there's just no doubt. This car demands you drive it. It was engineered so you feel in control. The car is so well planted and does exactly what you want. Its steering is incredibly precise. There's just not much bad that can be said about the driving experience of a Porsche. Visibility is what you would think it would be. The reality is it's pretty awful looking out the back. I pretty much barely see anything out there, but this is a Cabriolet, so if I drop the top, maybe I can see a little bit more. Man, that's just so great. One thing I love about the instrument panel in this car is the analog tachometer. It's right there in the middle. It's not digital, it's old school, it looks fantastic, it's timeless, it does exactly what you need. And in the driver's car, that's what really matters. Watching that tachometer climb and go through the gears the right way. The remainder of these screens can be swapped around, and you've got a beautiful navigation here in the middle that does recognize when my hand gets close to it. Kind of a cool little trick of it. One thing you guys hear me complain about a lot behind the driver's seat of these cars is how small and dainty the paddles are. Now, I can't say that these paddles are huge, but they don't feel dainty. They don't feel plastic. They're not kind of giving in your hand. They're solid little paddles, and they do the job. Now, I know a lot has been made of the little big shaver here to put the car in drive, but the reality is I don't mind it. It's something you react with once you get in the car, and I don't touch it again until I park. Could Porsche have done buttons or a larger or something more substantial? Sure, but it goes with the aesthetic. It looks like every other switch inside the vehicle, and to me, it kind of goes. And now this wouldn't be a Porsche without the clock on the dash. And for those of you that don't know, it's got a little digital display of the actual time in the center, and then the clock goes around counting the seconds. I suppose this is for when you're on the track and you really want to get precise about your lap times. But it is a pretty cool little design element that Porsche continues to put in all of their cars. The one thing that stands out to you while driving this car is the quality. I mean, it's a Porsche, so you wouldn't expect anything less, but it is evident the moment you sit in this car, everything is of the finest quality and meticulously put together. Porsche really does a great job with their interiors. This is an absolute beauty. The ride in this car is fantastic as well. I mean, these aren't the most manicured roads, and yet I feel nothing driving over these bumps. This could easily be a daily driven car, and most of 911s out on the road are. And for good reason. It's a great drive. It handles day in, day out driving fantastic. And it's an absolute blast when you want it to be. You cannot go wrong with this car. I told you guys, I don't think you should ever buy a car that's boring. Buy a car that invokes a little bit of passion the moment you sit in it. Porsche hits that nail on the head. If you're in the market for a fun car that you can drive every day, but you can take up to the canyons and sling around as well, this is it. The 2020 911 does not let down. What a great car.
This is what the engine is. It's a smile engine.
It's a smile engine? Yes, it is a smile engine. You heard it here. That's what this engine is. It's a smile engine. Yes, it is. So guys, as I promised in the beginning of the video, if you made it this far, here's the supercar update. COVID has made it really hard to get out to the vehicle. A lot of states force you to quarantine when you get there, and the car that I've identified as adding to the garage is in limited supply. There are about 25 of them for sale in the nation right now. I have identified the one I want, and it is coming to the channel very soon, I promise you. It's just been a little bit harder than I had originally anticipated with COVID. This being my first supercar, I'm not really inclined to buy this sight unseen, and that's been the limitation, or shall I say the time frame associated with. The other piece of it is I decided to refinance my home with interest rates being as low as they were. So that was an initial delay, and now we're on the back end of that. But the car is on the way. It will be featured on the channel soon, I promise, and I hope you'll enjoy that video when it does drop. And that's it, guys. I hope you liked today's video. If you are in the market for a Porsche or thinking about one, I really hope you consider Rocklin Porsche. Their link again is down below. Fantastic crew. I promise you they'll help you out. And guys, if you like this Porsche review, slam that thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed below, subscribe down there as well. And that little bell icon, click that too. That way you're notified the next time I upload a video. Catch you guys in the next one. See ya.